Good morning, traders. It's Barry Wilkie with StartupTrading.com. It is about 2 minutes till 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, October 8th already. So as we look back at yesterday's session, right, just really going nowhere and finally got a liquidation break late in the afternoon, uh, which is always, you know, gives us something to trade against today, I guess is what I should say. It left some single prints pretty large in the NASDAQ. We're right in the upper half of those right now. Uh, and then in the ES, there's two different levels, and we'll get into that. The Dow, there's two different as well. Uh, Looking at the news, and the title of my video is News Flow Starts Tomorrow, because we have a speech at 3 o'clock. Most of us won't be trading after 3 o'clock anyways. And that was I'm sorry, that was 3 a.m. So that's already passed. Really, no big news today. You're going to have at 12:50, 12:45. You're going to have Bostic speaking about the economic outlook. Audience questions are going to be expected, so that's during lunchtime. So I would assume that we'll get some shenanigans during that speech at some point in time. Not that there's going to be anything that comes out of here that's going to be earth shattering, but that's just the way it goes. Right at 4 o'clock, there's someone else giving a speech, so make sure you're flat before 4. There's no liquidity after the closing bell. And then so starting tomorrow, right, we're going to have tomorrow afternoon, we're going to have the FOMC meeting minutes. That's always a burst of volatility. Then Thursday, we're going to have CPI. And then Friday, we're going to have PPI. And we do have some, auctions going off this week as well. Get into more of that tomorrow. Then earnings is going to kick off Friday morning with a few banks. Uh, Looking at positioning real quick, there's nothing going on here for the Qs, in my opinion, today that you can really say that, this is where the buck should stop. Uh, you can see if we get down to 480, there'll be a decision to be made, and then you could get into some negative gamma if you can break below that. Right now, we're trading 483.71. So, and then you can see from above basically 486, 487, you're getting into borrowed time on the upside. You could potentially get up to 490, but you're really your bread and butter is probably going to be between 482 and 485 today. As you know, that's the easy range to trade more than likely. Looking at the SPYs are currently trading 569.74, so just under 570. So you can see 567 about 30 points down would be a little bit of support for the week, and then for today you can see 572 about 20 points above to that 20-point range is probably going to be a little bit tight, 570 to 572, and then you get a 569 is a little bit of a decision point, which is where we're playing with now, and then you got 568 to 567. Looking at the cash market, the cash closed just a few points under 5,700 yesterday. Futures are up 21 points, so we're about trading 57.15 right now. So 5,700's support, basically 15 points lower, and then 50 points higher as resistance if you break through there. These are basically 50-point ranges, but you have to always watch the 25s as well. Looking at where we have the overnight low was basically equal to the low from October 2nd so far in that session. We have two untested points of control above us now. Yesterday's at 57.82 half, and then I guess it would be Friday's at 5,800 right there. Uh, Looking at where we are, and again, this 57.25 stopping. So we've tested this twice already in the past, and once overnight. So this overnight low, think of about it as a serious spot. If you start making progress below there, you should get a a fall of at least 47 to 50 points, and then we'll just have to see what happens after that. Holding above there, right, or holding that line like we have been, you could just rotate all the way back up to the top. This 57.85 was, a little bit of a resistance point on and off in the past, and then you've got 58.20, which is and 58.30, which is the highs. Looking at the Nasdaq, it's kind of tapered off too. So what might happen is, we might not bust out of this range until we start getting that news flow from Wednesday at 2 until, Friday afternoon. And then you've got, for the Nasdaq, that range is, you know, 19,864 up to 20,251. So, so far it's looking more range bound. And, we got down to that bottom of the range once again. Uh, Overnight action, 45 and a half points. If we look at where we're at, we're in value, we're in value, we're in value, we're in value. Not a lot going on. But if you look at the ES, and I think we can use it as a little bit of a guidepost, probably 57.63 half above or below would be your first marker. Or if you just want to keep it simple, above the overnight high or below uh, 57, 56. In between there, it could just bounce around like a ping pong ball. And we'll have to see. The Dow got right up under that top set of single prints from yesterday and stalled. So there is a potential for a bear trap, right? If we start getting above these single prints this morning, rotate up to the top of value, that's where resistance should come in, is around where these points of controls are. But because you have traders trapped from yesterday's close, if they don't get a chance to recover, and that's when you'll know how good the short squeeze could be. If you trade down to under 57.50 for the ES, there shouldn't be much on the table for the shorts, in my opinion. And if you trade, in other words, if we go up after that, it won't be because of necessarily a short squeeze. And if you get to unchanged, so basically watch the unchanged level. You start making progress in any negative prints and holding below those, there should be no squeeze to this top side. It's not that we can't rotate back up again because we hit the bottom of the range, but it won't have the same oomph that it would be if we don't get back down to unchanged today and we start getting a little bit higher, and then you could get a little bit of a squeeze over yesterday's high. And I would just think that's just a trade. I wouldn't think it has legs, but watch the +1, +2 standard deviation at that point. And if we get below the settlement, start printing negative prints on the ES and NQ, watch the -1, -2. If you don't have that and the VIX rising or falling on either of those cases, you're not going to have a trend. It's just going to be, something that's going to reverse, and that would be the end of the trade and not the start of the trade. I hope this helps. You guys have a great